All right. I believe we are live. Oh, very cool. All right. Well, there's nobody here so far. Oh, there is somebody here. Now hold on there. All right, let me get set up here. I'm not going to officially start until 8 o'clock. So just keep that in mind as you're jumping in. I guess this. All right, I gotta get my suit on. The suit made in Egypt. Oh yeah, and I got paid here. I came prepared. All right. So if there is somebody here, can you tap in the chat and let me know? Let me know who you are, maybe. Okay, so I found the book. It was in. I had to go on a mad search for it. It took me maybe 10 minutes. So normally, this is on. Normally, this is on the library shelf in our main living room. However, it was not there. Apparently, my brother had it in his room. So as I was searching for it, he comes up and he's like, "Oh, what are you doing? What are you looking for?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm looking for the Winnie the Pooh book." And he's like, "Oh, it's in my room." No, you're not going to do that right now. No. Oh no, not during the live stream. See, this always happens whenever I'm on a call as well. It'll just be complete silence. We'll be in like the middle, in the background. We'll be in like the middle of a conversation, and all of a sudden the printer just starts printing stuff. That's not exactly cool. At least we haven't officially started yet. That's good, at least. Okay, I believe that was it. We're gonna see if that starts up again. I wonder if I can like just shut this down. Shutting down. Is that gonna work? Oh, it worked. Look at that. All right. Oh, I turned it off. It already started. Okay. How did they know the printer was off? That doesn't make any sense. I don't understand. Anyway. All right. Oh, we have 2 people now. Look at that. All right. Let me look. Oh, that's right. This has got to be worth some money because it shows the front cover. You'd assume this is the front, right? No. It's upside down. Hey, it's Avon. Look at that. Welcome. This book is printed upside down. Whoa, it highlights my name in the chat. That's cool. I've never done one of these before. So we're just gonna roll with it. And we have 3 people. Oh yeah, no problem. Yo, we're getting more people. Look at that. I started this and there was like one person, and I was like, what? I'm surprised there was one person. But as I was saying, this book is printed upside down. So this has got to be worth some money at least. So this is the complete edition of A.A. Milne's poems. Hey, there's Clayton. There's Clayton in the Thad. I think that's Thad. Maybe. we got the Winnie the Pooh books. And then, like, the official, like, the chapters in the books. And then we have the poems that were released that were compiled into. It's just him falling out of the tree. Yes. Well, I mean, he's just sitting on the ground with Christopher Robin. So, I believe this is just. This must just be a backwards, because they're just sitting on the ground. I don't know. This has got to be a printing error for sure. Also, the entire spine is dead. Like, it's just dead. Oh golly. So I will not be reading the poems, or maybe I will. I don't know. If somebody actually wants me to read the poems, I suppose I can. They're not as... Yeah, I probably won't. They're probably not as... Can I get a shout out? I just gave you a shout out, bro. You literally said thanks for the shout out earlier in the chat. But go follow Jamie Lukemeyer 101. That would be LUETKEMEYER. Lute Kimeyer. I don't know. I don't know what you want me to do there. I'm not significant. Wait, there's only 3 people watching right now. So the entirety of the 3 people that are here. Oh, MTG Flops. That's right. Yes, go follow. Yes. MTG Flops, or Magic the Gathering Flops, is a channel that a bunch of my buddies do, where they perform little skits about Magic the Gathering, and it's really funny. It's actually very well done. So actually, a couple guys in the chat are part of that channel. So go check them out. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, MTG Flops. I believe that's all lowercase. So go check them out. It's a very good channel. And probably even if you don't care too much about Magic, like even if you have, like, you could probably still get something out of it. They're very funny. It's very well done. Oh golly. How long is this completely? I think these are the original illustrations from A.A. Milne. Did A.A. Milne do the illustrations for that? Okay, look at this. Look at this Tigger. That's a demented Tigger if I've ever seen one. That is a very strange looking. I don't know what that looks like. It's like a strange crackhead dog. I have no idea. Who did the illustrations? Coloring of the illustrations. Copyright. Okay. It doesn't say who did the... Oh, The Wind in the Willows. That's another book. Okay, so little bit of a teaser there. The next book, or a book I'll be doing in the future, is Wind in the Willows, which is a very strange... it's kind of like a parody of Les Mis. I believe Les Mis is in the public. Actually, I'm gonna look that up right now. If it is, I will definitely do it. Is Les Mis in the public domain? Public domain. Frequently asked questions. People frequently ask questions about the public domain. Apparently. What kind of things are in the public domain? The literary classics Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. That's an odd book. I don't plan on reading that, just because of how bizarre it is. Ooh, we got a like. Look at that. The Little Mermaid. That's a book? Wait. That's a book? Wait. Disney was free to use these stories in its beloved animations because their copyrights had lapsed. Okay, so apparently... Oh, Grimm's Fairy Tales. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. Yeah, I might read that. The Hunchback of Notre Dame. They used public domain works to create such films as Oz the Great and Powerful, which is from Wizard of Oz. Thor the Dark World, which is from Norse mythology. I don't know why they chose Thor the Dark World. Wouldn't it make more sense to just say Quasimodo? Wouldn't it make more sense just to say, like, Thor movies in general? Shakespeare stuff. Les Mis, Victor Hugo. Yeah, it looks like that book is in the public domain. So I will be reading Les Mis at some point in the future. Works published before 1923 are in the public domain. Okay. So that makes sense. The oldest work still under copyright may be a 1755 letter from John Adams. Its copyright, it was not published until 1956. That makes, okay. So it was written in the 1700s, but it's not going to be, or it wasn't published until the 1900s. So that means its copyright won't actually expire until 2052. So almost 300 years after its creation. So technically, if you write a book but never publish it, maybe you could break that record. I don't know. You could if you really tried. And now I can't scroll down because this article is freaking out. So, we're 1 minute. Yo, I got a subscriber. Look at that. Thank you, Clayton. You are the best. We're 1 minute to my first reading on YouTube. Oh, thank you. Thank you. It was made in Egypt. That's gonna be my claim to fame. Should I move this? I'm gonna move this chair so I'm more in the middle. Does this bend? Yes, it does. Arabian leather. Okay, we're at 8 o'clock. I gotta set up my recording stuff. Let me just put this over here and open up Audacity. Let's do a quick test for the microphone to make sure it works. Hello, this is a test of what my recording is going to sound like. Hello, this... Oh, that's wonderful. I love it. All right. All right, we are at 5 people. This is a record, probably because Start rapping. Oh, you better believe I'm going to rap this entire book. Decorations by Ernest H. Shepard. Shout out to Ernest H. Shepard. He's most likely dead. Yes. The illustration's copyright 1992. So my man must have been at least, oh golly, I don't even know. Maybe 30? I don't even know what I'm talking about. We're gonna start the book. Okay. Ooh, there is an introduction about how Winnie the Pooh, the idea for Winnie the Pooh came about. Should I read that? Type in the chat if I should read this introduction to start out. Okay, I'm getting a yes. We're gonna start out by reading the introduction. Now, I believe in the intro I put on my new intro for this channel. I believe I put the link to my website. So go and check that out after this is done. Hopefully, actually, after 10, I have to go to bed. So sometime tomorrow morning, this recording will be uploaded to my website. So you can go listen to that full thing. I think I'm going to start out by recording the introduction and chapter 1, which is in which we are introduced to Winnie the Pooh, some bees, and the story begins. Oh, we got through it. There we go. We are going to start now. All right. All right. We will start recording. The website, the link to my new website, which will have all the recording, it's barren now, but all of the recordings will be on that website. The link should be in the intro, the first video you see on my channel, the latest thing I've done. It should be there. So, all right, here we go. Winnie the Pooh by A. Milne. Introduction. If you happen to have read another book about Christopher Robin, you may remember that he once had a swan. Or the swan had Christopher Robin, I don't know which. And that he used to call this swan Pooh. That was a long time ago, and when we said goodbye, we took the name with us, as we didn't think the swan would want it anymore. Well, when Edward Bear said that he would like an exciting name all to himself, Christopher Robin said at once, without stopping to think, that he was Winnie the Pooh. And so he was. So, as I have explained the Pooh part, I will now explain the rest of it. You can't be in London for long without going to the zoo. There are some people who begin the zoo at the beginning, called Way In, and walk out as quickly as they can past every cage until they get to the one called Way Out. But the nicest people go straight to the animal they love most and stay there. So when Christopher Robin goes to the zoo, he goes to where the polar bears are, and he whispers something to the third keeper from the left, and doors are unlocked, and we wander through dark passages and up steep stairs until at last we come to the special cage, and the cage is opened, and out trots something brown and furry, and with a happy cry of, "Oh, bear!" Christopher Robin rushes into its arms. Now this bear's name is Winnie, which shows what a good name for bears it is, but the funny thing is, we can't remember where Winnie is called after Pooh, or Pooh after Winnie. We did know once, but we have forgotten. I had written about as far as this when Piglet looked up and said in his squeaky voice, What about me? My dear Piglet, I said, the whole book is about you. So it is about Pooh, he squeaked. You see what it is. He's jealous because he thinks Pooh is having a grand introduction all to himself. Pooh is the favorite, of course, there's no denying it, but Piglet comes in for a good many things which Pooh misses. Because you can't take Pooh to school without everybody knowing it. But Piglet is so small that he slips into a pocket, where it is very comfortable to feel him when you are not quite sure whether twice 7 is 12 or 22. Sometimes he slips out and has a good look in the ink pot, and in this way he gets more introduction than Pooh. But Pooh doesn't mind. Some have brains and some haven't, he says, and there it is. And now all the others are saying, what about us? So perhaps the best thing to do is to stop writing introductions and get on with the book. A.A. Milne. All right, and that was the introduction. I messed up one word. I said, where is it? I said introduction instead of education. So, I hope nobody's too mad about that. Let me just, I thought I saw a big spike at the beginning. Oh, thank you, thank you. We're going to start chapter 1 momentarily, but let me just check this first part because there's a big spike in the beginning. Winnie the Pooh by A.A. Milne. Okay, so it does spike, but I think we can get away with that. That was a total of 3 minutes and 6 seconds. So I say A.A. Milne at the end, so I can start here. All right. I like how I'm reading Winnie the Pooh live, and the chat is just talking about like the Green Bay Packers. the oh man, this is gonna be good. I can feel it. Oh man, all right, here we go. Was that volume good? Could you guys all hear that? Could you guys all hear that pretty good? Yes, okay. Perfection, all right. Let me just, excuse me, Piglet. Okay. All right. Chapter 1, here we go. I wonder if I can scoot my chair closer at all. Oh, okay. Looks like that worked. All right, this should be good. We're gonna do a quick test. Test 1, 2. This is me reading Winnie the Pooh out loud on YouTube, because I'm dumb. Test 1. Oh, that's wonderful. All right. I wonder if I did this like in the morning, like whenever my voice is lowest. I wonder how low I could go in reading Winnie the Pooh. It would just like it would just like be below the decibel level that humans can hear. It'd be like a dog whistle, but on the other end. Oh lol. Why did I? Okay, we're gonna start before my brain dies. Chapter 1, in which we are introduced to Winnie the Pooh and some bees, and the stories begin. Here is Edward Bear now, coming downstairs, bump, 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 on the back of his head, behind Christopher Robin. It is, as far as he knows, the only way of coming downstairs. But sometimes he feels that there really is another way, if only he could stop bumping for a moment and think about it. And then he feels that perhaps there isn't. Anyway, here he is at the bottom and ready to be introduced to you, Winnie the Pooh. When I first heard his name, I said, just as you're going to say, but I thought he was a boy. So did I, said Christopher Robin. Then you can't call him Winnie. I don't. But you say he's Winnie the Pooh. Don't you know what there means? Ah, yes, now I do, I said quickly, and I hope you do too, because it's all the explanation you're going to get. Sometimes Winnie the Pooh likes a game of some sort when he comes downstairs, and sometimes he just likes to sit quietly in front of the fire and listen to a story. This evening, what about a story? Said Christopher Robin. What about a story? I said. Could you very sweetly tell Winnie the Pooh one? I suppose I could, I said. What sort of stories does he like? About himself, because he's that sort of bear. Oh, I see. So could you very sweetly? I'll try, I said. So I tried. Once upon a time, a very long time ago now, about last Friday, Winnie the Pooh lived in a forest all by himself, under the name of Sanders. What does under the name mean? Asked Christopher Robin. It means he had the name over the door in gold letters, and he lived under it. Winnie the Pooh wasn't quite sure, said Christopher Robin. Now I am, said a growly voice. Then I will go on, said I. One day, while he was out walking, he came to an open place in the middle of the forest, and in the middle of this place was a large oak tree. And in the middle of this place was a large oak tree, and from the top of the tree there came a loud buzzing noise. Winnie the Pooh sat down at the foot of the tree, put his head between his paws, and began to think. First of all, he said to himself, that buzzing noise means something. You don't just get a buzzing noise like that, just buzzing and buzzing, without it meaning something. If there's a buzzing noise, somebody's making a buzzing noise, and the only reason for making a buzzing noise that I know of is because you're a bee. Then he thought another long time and said, and the only reason for being a bee that I know of is making honey. And so he got up and said, and the only reason for making honey is so that I can eat it. So he began to climb the tree. He climbed and he climbed and he climbed, and as he climbed he sang a little song to himself. It went like this. Isn't it funny how a bear likes honey? Buzz, 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 I wonder why he does. Then he climbed a little further, and just a little further, and then a little further. By that time he had thought of another song. It's a very funny thought that if bears were bees, they'd build their nests at the bottom of the trees. And that being so, if the bees were bears, we shouldn't have to climb up all these stairs. He was getting rather tired by this time, so that is why he sang a complaining song. He was nearly there now, and if he just stood on that branch, crack! Oh, help! Said Pooh, as he dropped 10 feet to the branch below him. If only I hadn't, he said, as he bounced 20 feet onto the next branch. You see what I meant to do, he explained, as he turned head over heels and crashed onto another branch 30 feet below. What I meant to do? Of course it was rather, he admitted, as he slithered very quickly through the next 6 branches. It all comes, I suppose, he decided, as he said goodbye to the last branch, spun round 3 times, and flew gracefully into a gorse bush. It all comes of liking honey so much. Oh, help! He crawled out of the gorse bush, brushed the prickles from his nose, and began to think again. And the first person he thought of was Christopher Robin. Was that me? Said Christopher Robin in an awed voice, hardly daring to believe it. That was you. Christopher Robin said nothing, but his eyes got larger and larger, and his face got pinker and pinker. So Winnie the Pooh went round to his great friend Christopher Robin, who lived behind a green door in another part of the forest. Good morning, Christopher Robin, he said. Good morning, Winnie the Pooh, said you. I wonder if you've got such a thing as a balloon about you. A balloon? Yes, I said to myself, just coming along, I wonder if Christopher Robin has such a thing as a balloon about him. I just said it to myself thinking of balloons and wondering. What do you want a balloon for? You said. Winnie the Pooh looked around to see that nobody was listening, put his paw to his mouth, and said in a deep whisper, Honey. But you don't get honey with balloons. I do, said Pooh. Well, it just happened that you had been to a party the day before, at the house of your friend Piglet. And you had balloons at the party. You had a great big green balloon, and one of Rabbit's relations had a big blue one and had left it behind, being really too young to go to a party at all, and so you had brought the green one and the blue one home with you. Which one would you like? You asked Pooh. He put his head between his paws and thought very carefully. It's like this, he said. When you go after honey with a balloon, the great thing is not to let the bees know you're coming. Now, if you have a green balloon, they might think you were only part of the tree, and not notice you. And if you have a blue balloon, they might think you were only part of the sky, and not notice you. And the question is, which is more likely? Wouldn't they notice you under the balloon? You asked. They might, or they might not, said Winnie the Pooh. You can never tell with bees. He thought for a moment, then said, I shall try to look like a small black cloud. That will deceive them. Then you'd better have the blue balloon, you said, and so it was decided. Well, you both went out with a blue balloon, and you took your gun with you, just in case, as you always did. And Winnie the Pooh went to a very muddy place that he knew of, and rolled until he was black all over. And then, when the balloon was blown as big, and you and Pooh were both holding onto the string, you let go suddenly, and Pooh Bear floated gracefully up into the sky, and stayed there, level with the top of the tree, and about 20 feet away from it. Hooray! You shouted. Isn't that fine? Shouted Winnie the Pooh down to you. What do I look like? You look like a bear holding onto a balloon, you said. Not, said Pooh anxiously, not like a small black cloud in a blue sky? Not very much. Oh, well, perhaps from up here it looks different. As I say, you can never tell with these. There was no wind to blow him nearer to the tree, so there he stayed. He could see the honey, he could smell the honey, but he couldn't quite reach the honey. After a while, he called down to you. Christopher Robin, he said in a loud whisper. Hello? I think the bees suspect something. What sort of thing? I don't know, but something tells me that they're suspicious. Perhaps they think they're after your honey. It may be that. You can never tell with bees. There was another little silence, and then he called down to you again. Christopher Robin? Yes? Have you an umbrella in your house? I think so. I wish you would bring it out here, and walk up and down with it, and look up at me every once in a while and say, Tut, tut, it looks like rain. I think if you did that, it would help the deception with which we are practicing on these bees. Well, you laughed to yourself, silly old bear. But you didn't say it out loud, because you were too fond of him, and you went home for your umbrella. Oh, there you are, called down Winnie the Pooh as soon as you got back to the tree. I was beginning to get anxious. I have discovered that the bees are now definitely suspicious. Shall I put my umbrella up? Yes, but wait a moment. We must be practical. The important bee to deceive is the queen bee. Can you see which is the queen bee from down there? No. Pity. Well now, if you walk up and down with your umbrella saying, tut tut, it looks like rain, I shall do what I can by singing a little cloud song, such as a cloud might sing. Go! So while you walked up and down and wondered if it would rain, Winnie the Pooh sang this song. How sweet to be a cloud floating in the blue. Every little cloud always sings aloud. How sweet to be a cloud, floating in the blue. It makes him very proud to be a little cloud. The bees were still buzzing as suspiciously as ever. Some of them, indeed, left their nest and flew all around the cloud as it began the second verse of the song, and one bee sat down on the nose of the cloud for a moment and then got up again. Christopher, ow, Robin, called out the cloud. Yes, I have just been thinking, and I have come to a very important decision. These are the wrong sorts of bees. Are they? Quite the wrong sort. So I should think that they would make the wrong sort of honey. Shouldn't you? Would they? Yes. So I think I shall come down now. How? You asked. Winnie the Pooh hadn't thought about this. If he let go of the string, he would fall, bump, and then he didn't like the idea of that. So he thought for a long time, and then he said, Christopher Robin, you must shoot the gun with your balloon. Have you got your gun? I'm going to stop it right there because I messed this up so badly. Luckily, I can just I can stop the recording and then like erase part of it and continue. Otherwise, we would we would be in trouble because that would be really bad. You must shoot the gun with your balloon. Okay, I have to find that part and fix it. Hold on. You must shoot the gun with your balloon. Oh, man. Oh, let me just get rid of that part. Okay, did I say the part before it? Let me just check that real quick. Christopher Robin. Yeah, I did say that part. Okay. All right, let me just. All right, let's try this again. You must shoot the balloon with your gun. Have you got your gun? Of course I have, you said. But if I do that, it will spoil the balloon, you said. But if you don't, said Pooh, I shall have to let go, and that would spoil me. When you put it like this, you saw how it was, and you aimed very carefully at the balloon and fired. Ow, said Pooh. Did I miss? You asked. You didn't exactly miss, said Pooh, but you missed the balloon. I'm so sorry, you said, and you fired again, and this time you hit the balloon, and the air came slowly out, and Winnie the Pooh floated down to the ground. But his arms were so stiff from holding on to the string of the balloon all that time that they stayed up straight in the air for more than a week. And whenever a fly came and settled on his nose, he had to blow it off. And I think, but I'm not quite sure, that is why he was always called Pooh. Is that the end of the story? Asked Christopher Robin. That's the end of that one. There are others. And about Pooh and me. And Piglet and Rabbit and all of you. Don't you remember? I do remember, and when I try to remember, I forget. That day when Pooh and Piglet tried to catch the heffalump, they didn't catch it, did they? No. Pooh couldn't, because he hasn't any brain. Did I catch it? Well, that comes into the story. Christopher Robin nodded. I do remember, he said, only Pooh doesn't very well, so that's why he likes having it told to him again. Because then it's a real story and not just a remembering. That's just how I feel, I said. Christopher Robin gave a deep sigh, picked his bear up by the leg, and walked off to the door, trailing Pooh behind him. At the door, he turned and said, Come in to see me have my bath? I might, I said. I didn't hurt him when I shot him, did it? Not a bit. He nodded and went out. In a moment, I heard Winnie the Pooh bump, 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 going up the stairs behind him. Here ends the introduction and chapter 1 of Winnie the Pooh by A.A. Milne. Boom! There we go. I just realized what I can do is after I finish each chapter, I can then upload that to the website right then. So I think That's what I'm going to do. That is a total of 16 minutes and 40 seconds. I want to see how seamlessly it goes from the preface, the introduction, to chapter 1.
Christopher Robin.
No, wait. That's the other part. Okay. That's the part I messed up. So if I just...
What the fuck? A&L. Chapter 1, in which...
Okay, there's a bit of a volume difference, but I think it works pretty seamlessly. So what we're going to do... what we are going to do is we're going to export that. We're going to export that as intro and chapter 1. Actually, you know what? I'm going to make a new file. Yeah, we're going to make a new file. Yes, this is Piglet in my pocket. I'm staying true to the story. What we're gonna do is we're gonna make audio files. Okay, and now I'm gonna save it in that. Let's see how long this is gonna take. Oh, 45 seconds. I love Audacity. It just works so well in terms of like recording what I'm saying. I can edit whatever it says, and then exporting is really easy. It doesn't take any time at all. And then for the most part, it can just easily be transferred to editing software or wherever you're trying to publish it at. So I think it's a free program. So if you want something like that, I know I've heard of a couple YouTubers. I've seen YouTubers that have used Audacity. I'm like, hey, I use that. So I think it just cuts off there at 1640. Hey, we got Alex, and Truett has returned. My camera's in the way. Yes, Audacity is very good. I'm gonna try to... Let's see here. Okay, it's only 8:30. That's very good. I haven't fully set it up yet? What? Now hold on. Side actions, edit. Oh, it's loading. Okay. Oh, oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Jim. I'm sorry about that. I didn't see you. I didn't see you there. I'm sorry. Yes, go follow all these people. I'm officially giving shout outs to all of the people in the chat right now. Now let's see here. The site is currently published. I'm gonna see if okay, we're gonna get rid of that. And now, actually, I wonder if I can screen share this. That's not right. Oh, here we go. Okay, I don't think I can. I can't really figure out how to share my screen here. Video and music. Oh, yes. Here we go. Let's just put that right there. Okay, change track. One track external MP3. Okay. Wait, is this for the picture or is this? Oh, this is okay. This is the no. That's choose image. Got it. Okay. I'm just gonna use the picture I took from. Actually, we can just use that. Kaboom. Artist name. Now you can take this as time to go get like a drink or something. I don't know. We will begin chapter 2 shortly. Track name. This would be intro. Pooh. Winnie the Pooh. Intro and chapter 1. Play once, play and loop. I don't think people need it to play in a loop. Okay. Upload track. Oh, wait. Yes, add track. Did it upload my video? Change track. Upload track. What? One upload complete. I'm so confused. I probably should have set this up beforehand.
Winnie the Pooh.
Oh, it works. Let's go. Did I save? I published, so. What? Save. Save. Okay, cool. Maybe I should keep that up. That might have been smart, but live and learn. All right, we're going to begin chapter 2. Let me just see here. Currency? Can people, like, donate to me? I didn't know that was a thing. Okay. I like how it always says whenever I try to upload something, it's like, oh, is this made for kids? Is this content kid appropriate? Does this comply with COPPA's standards? And I'm like, I mean, Winnie the Pooh is, but if I'm gonna read Les Mis later on, I don't think that's a good idea. I don't. I'm reading Les Mis right now for literature, and I don't believe it's. No, there's definitely some bad parts in it. I don't. Yeah. Maybe not. maybe I'll. So if this doesn't appear on YouTube Kids, I'm sorry. I'm absolutely a terrible person. All right, we're gonna begin. We're gonna begin chapter 2. Testing, testing. This is a test. This is where I'm gonna be sitting. So we're gonna start from here.
Testing, testing. This is a test.
Okay, even when I sit back, it still works. So I think this is gonna work well. Wow, we've almost been streaming for an hour. Holy cow! I've never uploaded a video that's more than I think like 20 minutes at the most. It feels so weird to be like recording for this long. Like the screen recording software that I used for all my Minecraft videos only recorded 10 minutes at a time, and every time it stopped, I would have to reset the program and then resize what I wanted to be screen recorded, and then hit record and then pick up where I left off. So it was a nightmare to record videos that were more than like 10 minutes long. I think some of the videos I uploaded were actually like 10 minutes exactly, and I was cut off in mid-sentence in the middle of the video. Like I was starting a sentence and it just stopped. So, oh, let's see here. Do I count as one of the participants watching? So it said he left, but he's still on the chat. Maybe it has to update or something. I don't know. All right. So we're gonna begin part 2, or chapter 2, or whatever. Winnie the Pooh by A.A. Milne. Chapter 2, in which Pooh goes visiting and gets into a tight place. Edward Bear, known to his friends as Winnie the Pooh, or Pooh for short, was walking through the forest one day, humming proudly to himself. He had made up a little hum that very morning as he was doing his stoutness exercises in front of the glass. Tra-la-la, tra-la-la, as he stretched up high as he could go, and then tra-la-la, tra-la-la, oh help, la, as he tried to reach his toes. After breakfast, he had said it over and over and over to himself until he had learned it off by heart, and now he was humming it right through properly. It went like this. Tra-la-la, 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 tra-la-la. Rum-tum, tiddle-um-tum. Tiddle-little, 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 tiddle-little. Rum-tum-tum, tiddly-dum. Well, he was humming this hum to himself and walking along gaily, wondering what everybody else was doing and what it felt like being someone else, when suddenly he came to a sandy bank, and in the bank was a large hole. Aha, said Pooh. Rum-tum-tiddle-um-tum. If I know anything about anything, that hole means rabbit, he said. And rabbit means company, he said. And company means food and listening to me humming and such like. Rum-tum-tiddle-um-tum. So he bent down, put his head into the hole, and called out, "Is anybody at home?" There was a sudden scuffling noise from inside the hole, and then there was silence. "What I said was, is anyone home?" called out Pooh very loudly. "No," said a voice, and then added, "You needn't shout so loud. I heard you quite well the first time." "Bother," said Pooh. "Isn't there anybody here at all?" "Nobody." Winnie the Pooh took his head out of the hole, and then thought for a second. And he thought to himself, there must be somebody there, because somebody must have said nobody. So he put his head back into the hole and said, "Hello, Rabbit, isn't that you?" "No," said Rabbit in a different sort of voice this time. But isn't that Rabbit's voice? I don't think so, said Rabbit. It isn't meant to be. Oh, said Pooh. He took his head out of the hole and had another think. And then he put it back and said, well, could you very kindly tell me where Rabbit is? He has gone to see his friend Pooh Bear, who is a great friend of his. But this is me, said Bear, very much surprised. What sort of me? Pooh Bear. Are you sure? Said Rabbit, still more surprised. Quite sure, said Pooh. Oh, well then, come in. So Pooh pushed and pushed and pushed his way through the hole, and at last he got in. Oh, you were quite right, said Rabbit, looking at him all over. It is you. Glad to see you. Who did you think it was? Well, I wasn't quite sure. You know how it is in the forest. One can't have anyone coming into one's house. One has to be careful. What about a mouthful of something? Pooh always liked a little something at 11 o'clock in the morning, and he was very glad to see Rabbit getting out the plates and mugs, and when Rabbit said, honey or condensed milk with your bread, he was so excited that he said both. And then, so as not to seem greedy, he added, but don't bother about the bread, please. And for a long time after that he said nothing, until at last, humming to himself in a rather sticky voice, he got up, shook Rabbit lovingly by the paw, and said that he must be going on. Must you? Said Rabbit politely. Well, said Pooh, I could stay a little longer if you... And he tried very hard to look in the direction of the larder. As a matter of fact, said Rabbit, I was going out myself directly. Oh, well then, I'll be going on. Goodbye. Well, goodbye, if you're sure you won't have any more. Is there any more? Asked Pooh quickly. Rabbit took the covers off the dishes and said no, there wasn't. I thought not, said Pooh, nodding to himself. Well, goodbye. I must be going on. So he started to climb up the hole. He pulled with his front paws and pushed with his back paws, and in a little while his nose was out in the open again. And then his ears, and then his front paws, and then his shoulders, and then... Oh, help, said Pooh. I'd better go back. Oh, bother, said Pooh. I shall have to go on. I can't do either, said Pooh. Oh, help and bother. Now by this time, Rabbit wanted to go for a walk too, and finding the front door full, he went up by the back door, and came around to Pooh and looked at him. Hello, are you stuck? He said. No, said Pooh carelessly. I'm just resting and thinking and humming to myself. Here, give us a paw. Pooh Bear stretched out a paw, and Rabbit pulled and pulled and pulled. Ow, said Pooh. You're hurting. The fact is, said Rabbit, you're stuck. It all comes, said Pooh crossly, of not having front paws big enough. It all comes, said Rabbit sternly, of eating too much. I thought at the time, said Rabbit, only I didn't like to say anything, said Rabbit. One of us was eating too much, said Rabbit. And I knew it wasn't me, he said. Well, well, I shall have to go and fetch Christopher Robin. Christopher Robin lived at the other end of the forest, and when he came back with Rabbit and saw the front half of Pooh, he said, silly old bear, in such a loving voice that everyone felt quite hopeful again. I was just beginning to think, said Bear, sniffing slightly, that Rabbit might never be able to use his front door again, and I should hate that, he said. So should I, said Rabbit. Use his front door again, said Christopher Robin. Of course he'll use his front door again. Good, said Rabbit. If we can't pull you up, Pooh, we might push you back. Rabbit scratched his whiskers thoughtfully and pointed out that when once Pooh was pushed back, he was back. And of course nobody was more glad to see Pooh than he was. Still, there it was. Some lived in trees and some lived underground. You mean I never get out, said Pooh. I mean, said Rabbit, that having got so far, it seems a pity to waste it. Christopher Robin nodded. Then there's only one thing to be done, he said. We shall have to wait for you to get thin again. How long does getting thin take? Asked Pooh anxiously. About a week, I should think. But I can't stay here for a week. You can stay here all right, silly old bear. It's getting you out which is so difficult. We'll read to you, said Rabbit cheerfully. "And I hope it won't snow," he added. "And I say, old fellow, you're taking up a good deal of room in my house. Do you mind if I use your back legs as a towel horse? Because, I mean, there they are, doing nothing, and it would be very convenient just to hang the towels on them." "Weak," said Pooh grimly. "What about meals?" "I'm afraid no meals," said Christopher Robin, "because of getting thin quicker. But we will read to you." Bear began to sigh, and then found that he couldn't because he was so tightly stuck, and a tear rolled down his eye as he said, "Then would you read a sustaining book, such as would help and comfort a wedged bear in great tightness?" So for a week, Christopher Robin read that sort of book at the north end of Pooh, and Rabbit hung his washing on the south end. And in between, Bear felt him getting slenderer and slenderer. And at the end of the week, Christopher Robin said, "Now." So he took hold of Pooh's front paws, and Rabbit took hold of Christopher Robin, and all Rabbit's friends and relations took hold of Rabbit, and they all pulled together. And for a long time, Pooh only said, "Ow!" and "Oh!" And then all of a sudden, he said, "Pop!" just as if a cork were coming out of a bottle. And Christopher Robin and Rabbit and all Rabbit's friends and relations went head over heels backwards, and on top of them came Winnie the Pooh, free. So with a nod of thanks to his friends, he went on with his walk through the forest, humming proudly to himself. But Christopher Robin looked after him lovingly and said, "Silly old bear." Here ends Chapter 2 of Winnie the Pooh by A.A. Milne. Okay. That was part 2. It's almost 9. It's almost 9. It's 9 o'clock on a Saturday. Wait, it is Saturday. Yo, that worked perfectly. That was, oh, I totally planned that. That was on purpose. That was totally on purpose. Well, it won't be. It won't be 9 o'clock. It will shortly be 9 o'clock. While this is uploading, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go make myself some apple cider. So there'll be a break. There'll be an intermission there while I'm uploading this to my website. So, yeah, I'm just going to keep this tab up so that I can continue to upload the things. Here's the dashboard. Edit. Okay. What is this? What is this button? Oh, I can share the live stream. Is Instagram here? Why is Instagram not here? That's like one of the only social media things I have. I could share it on Reddit. I don't have anything on Reddit. Like, I have an account, but I haven't like posted anything, or I don't think like anybody's like friended me. That sounds sad. I'm sorry. Video and music. Here we go. Audio players. We're gonna put this one in. Dun, 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 dun. Da, 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 da. Da, da, da. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Okay, the artist is Carver. That's me. What did I name this part? Intro in chapter 1. Didn't I? That's not what I named it. Wait, why did it do that? That's odd. How do I... Okay, okay. I had to press the enter button. Imagine that. Okay. Okay. Now I can match that chapter 2. And now I will upload the track. Ooh, I can drag and drop. Or I cannot, because I'm lazy. Okay, that's gonna upload. I'm gonna be right back. I'm gonna go doing this. Do. Oh, it already uploaded. Okay. That didn't really give me any chance. I'm still gonna go grab it. Okay, yes. Upload with that. It renamed it. Interesting. So I'm gonna have to I'm gonna have to update the name after I upload it. Very interesting. All right. Save changes, and now publish. Now I'm not going to check the mobile site. Maybe I'll do that eventually, but not for now. All right. I believe I was trying to do something of a Cockney accent for Rabbit. I was trying to get him to sound like this. Kind of. Maybe this is kind of Australian, just a little bit. Yeah, this is definitely Australian. Okay. Rabbit has an Australian voice now, so that's who he is. I am fairly certain that this is not what he sounds like in any other type of media. This is a very faint Australian accent, because if I do it any more, it's gonna sound awful. It probably does sound awful anyway, but okay. I don't know how long it takes to update the website. So if you go there, it might not be there for a little bit, but just check back maybe tomorrow and it'll be there. Okay, I'm going to go grab some apple cider. I will be right back. Please don't leave. This is an intermission. I will be right back. All right. Chapter 3, here we come. People are still here. All right. Oh. Oh, golly, what just fell over? Something fell over. I only need one of these. Apple cider, here we come. And now... No, that is my actual name, yes. I couldn't really come up with anything. I don't really have a stage name. I suppose, in a sense, Carver is such a strange name, it could be viewed as a stage name, but for most, in general, I shouldn't say in general, that is my actual name. Yes, I am on... Why is that your name? That's a very interesting question. That's a good question. I already said that. I believe my dad thought it was a cool name, but that's really all. That's really all. Yeah, I'm getting interrogated here. Holy cow. All right. I believe we are going to... Okay. So if I go to my channel and then I go to the link, hey, look at that. I can go... It took away the channel intro. Okay. If I go to channel, is it going to show both of the recordings? It does! Ooh, okay, cool. Wow, that worked really well. What's your favorite movie? Inception by Christopher Nolan. It's the greatest movie ever made. It's a masterpiece. This is very hot. I wonder if I can drink this. Oh, golly, that's hot. Why am I being interrogated like this? Favorite songs? Well, my favorite band is Men at Work, followed closely by Toto. Queen. Yeah, really 80s songs and bands. Okay, we are gonna start now. Audacity, here we come. I know, right? It's so... Every time I watch Inception, I find something new to be marveled at. Wish there was a book. Land Down Under, that's a very good song. It used to be my favorite, but I think my favorite song has changed to... Oh, I just listened to it the other day. I'm blanking on the name. I should know it. It's my favorite song. To Be With You by Mr. Big is a very good song. I should listen to more of his songs. But what we're going to do is we're going to start recording now. All right. Test. This is a test. I'm going to be sitting here and reading. Crap.
Test. This is a...
Wow, that just works perfectly. It's your girlfriend's favorite song. That's funny. That's actually really cool. All right, here we go. That is also a good song. Ooh. Pooh, I can't remember the last time I listened to that. I've annoyed too many people singing that song. All right. I completely blanked on the name of this book. I'm slowly going insane. Winnie the Pooh by A. Milne. Chapter 3, in which Pooh and Piglet go hunting and nearly catch a woozle. The Piglet lived in a very grand house in the middle of a beech tree. And the beech tree was in the middle of a forest, and the Piglet lived in the middle of the house. Next to his house was a piece of broken board which had Trespassers W on it. When Christopher Robin asked the Piglet what it meant, he said it was his grandfather's name and had been in the family for a very long time. Christopher could be called Trespassers W, and Piglet said yes, you could, because his grandfather was, and it was short for Trespassers Will, which was short for Trespassers William. And his grandfather had two names in case he lost one. Trespasser. Tracking what? Said Piglet, coming closer. That's just what I ask myself. I ask myself, what? What do you think you'll answer? I shall have to wait until I catch up with it, said Winnie the Pooh. Now look there. He pointed to the ground in front of him. What do you see there? Tracks, said Piglet. Paw marks. He gave a little squeak of excitement. Oh, Pooh! Do you think it's a woozle? It may be, said Pooh. Sometimes it is, and sometimes it isn't. You never can tell with paw marks. With these few words, he went on tracking, and Piglet, after watching him for a minute or two, ran after him. Winnie the Pooh had come to a sudden stop and was bending over the tracks in a puzzled sort of way. What's the matter? Asked Piglet. It's a very funny thing, said Bear, but there seems to be two animals now. This whatever it was has been joined by another whatever it is, and the two of them are now proceeding in company. Would you mind coming with me, Piglet, in case they turned out to be hostile animals? Piglet scratched his ear in a nice sort of way and said that he had nothing to do until Friday and would be delighted to come in case it really was a woozle. You mean in case it really is two woozles, said Winnie the Pooh. And Piglet said that anyhow he had nothing to do until Friday. So off they went together. There was a small spinney of larch trees just here, and it seemed as if the two woozles, if that was what they were, had been going round this spinney. So round the spinney went Pooh and Piglet after them. Piglet passed the time by telling Pooh what his grandfather Trespassers W had done to remove stiffness after tracking, and how his grandfather Trespassers W had suffered in his later years from shortness of breath, and other matters of interest, and Pooh wondered what a grandfather was really like, and perhaps if this was two grandfathers they were after now, and if so, whether he would be allowed to take one home and keep it, and what Christopher Robin would say, and still the tracks went on in front of them. Suddenly, Winnie the Pooh stopped and pointed excitedly in front of him. Look! What? Said Piglet with a jump, and then to show he hadn't been frightened, he jumped up and down once or twice in an exercising sort of way. The tracks, said Pooh. A third animal has joined the other two. Pooh! Cried Piglet. Do you think it's another woozle? No, said Pooh, because it makes different paw marks. It is either two woozles and one, as it might be whizzle, or two as it might be whizzles and one, if so it is woozle. Let us continue to follow them. So they went on, feeling just a little anxious now, in case the three animals in front of them were of hostile intent. And Piglet wished very much that his grandfather T.W. were there instead of elsewhere, and Pooh thought how nice it would be if they met Christopher Robin suddenly, but quite accidentally, and only because he liked Christopher Robin so much. And then, all of a sudden, Winnie the Pooh stopped again, and licked the tip of his nose in a cooling manner, for he was feeling more hot and anxious than ever before in his life. There were 4 animals in front of them. Do you see, Piglet? Look at the tracks. 3 as it were woozles, and 1 as it was whizzle. Another woozle has joined them. And so it seemed to be. There were the tracks crossing over each other here, getting muddled up with each other there, but quite plainly every now and then the tracks of 4 sets of paws. I think, said Piglet, when he had licked the tip of his nose too, and found that it brought very little comfort. I think that I have just remembered something. I have just remembered something that I forgot to do yesterday and shan't be able to do tomorrow, so I suppose I really ought to get back and do it now. We'll do it this afternoon, and I'll come with you, said Pooh. It isn't the sort of thing you can do in the afternoon, said Piglet very quickly. It's a very particular morning thing that has to be done in the morning, and if possible between the hours of... What would you say the time was? About 12, said Winnie the Pooh, looking at the sun. Between, as I was saying, the hours of 12 and 12:05. So really, dear old Pooh, if you'll excuse me... What's that? Pooh looked up at the sky, and then as he heard the whistle again, he looked up into the branches of a big oak tree, and he saw a friend of his. It's Christopher Robin, he said. Ah, then you'll be all right, said Piglet. You'll be quite safe with him. Goodbye. And he trotted off home as quickly as he could, very glad to be out of all danger again. Christopher Robin climbed slowly down his tree. Silly old bear, he said. What were you doing? First you went round the spinney twice by yourself, and then Piglet ran after you, and you went round again. And then you were just going round a fourth time. Wait a moment, said Winnie the Pooh, holding up his paw. He sat down and thought, in the most thoughtful way he could think. Then he fitted his paw into one of the tracks. And he scratched his nose twice, and stood up. Yes, said Winnie the Pooh. I see now, said Winnie the Pooh. I have been foolish and deluded, said he, and I am a bear of no brain at all. You are the best bear in all the world, said Christopher Robin soothingly. Am I? Said Pooh hopefully, and then he brightened up suddenly. Anyhow, he said, it's nearly luncheon time. So we went home for it. Here ends Chapter 3 of Winnie the Pooh. Okay. Significantly less long than the third chapter. I had to restart a little section because I accidentally used like Piglet's voice for Pooh, or Pooh's voice for Piglet, or something like that. I messed it in some way. Why are there two tracks? Oh, okay, that makes sense. Okay. So that is the third part. Export. Yeah, I'll put the book down. Chapter 3 with 4 E's. Oh shoot! What just happened? Wait, what just happened? Wait, no, what? Wait, let me try to... Oh no! Wait, no, what? No, what? It just messed up something. It just like deleted the chats from different people. What? Wait, how do I undo that? No, what? I'm so sorry. I don't know how that happened. If you're still there, it doesn't show me. It doesn't. It just says somebody's chats were deleted. If you're still there, try to whoever I deleted accidentally. I was just trying to see who was in the chat still. That was Jim. No, I don't think I knew them. I think that was a new person I'd never seen before. No. No, shoot. Oh no. Wait, if you're still there, Jim, can you like text something in the chat to make sure like I didn't end your existence? Oh no. In trying to undo that, I then deleted someone else. So now 2 people are deleted from existence. I don't want to touch it. I don't want to touch it. It's gonna explode. It's gonna just end everything. No. Oh shoot. No. Okay, well, this first stream is going wonderfully. Um a toast to the people I erased from existence. I'm so sorry. Oh no. Okay, well, I guess we'll just have to carry on. I hope. How do I figure out who's in the chat? I can't figure this out. I haven't actually like done this. I've never actually streamed strum whatever before. I can't figure out how does this work? No. Okay, well, I will try not to do that again. I'm gonna attempt, because I feel like if I touch another thing, it's just gonna like delete my entire YouTube channel. Just like, what happened? No. Okay. 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 Well, I'm very sorry. It doesn't look like. It still says 2 people, and the 2 recent people in the chats are Jim and Alex. So those must be the 2 people still watching. So I think they're still watching, but they just can't say anything. No. Okay, well, we're making this stream. We're making this stream in honor of Jim and whoever else I brutally erased from existence. I'm so sorry. Okay, we're gonna upload this third one. Oh shoot, that's right. I have to upload the track before I upload the name. Otherwise, it's just gonna keep it. Okay. One hour and 30 minutes. I wonder if this is longer than like my entire existence on YouTube. That'd be really funny. Okay, it looks like it uploaded. Chapter 3 of Famous Men of the Middle Ages. I'm not going to be doing that book. That's... for the most part, I'd like to keep it to... For the most part, I'd like to keep it to... Oh, that's right, I hit enter so that it actually... Save. Publish now. Done. Okay. I wonder if there's any way I can, like, organize, because if I get enough of these, then people are going to have to just scroll through all of them. So it'd be nice to make, like, little things that you can scroll through that have all of the recordings of a specific book, so that you don't have to go through all of the Winnie the Pooh stuff, and then all of the Wind of the Willows stuff, and all of whatever else I do. Oh, that would suck. Okay. I will have to get on that. Okay, 40 minutes left. We have 40 minutes until this stream ends. So, the question is, Chapter 3 was a total of 7 minutes. If each of the parts are around that time, oh, I'm sorry. Then I could probably get done Okay, I have to do big brain math here. Almost 6? Maybe 5 chapters? Good gravy. How much will we get through? Five more would put us almost at the end of the first half. So holy cow, I didn't realize we were going to get through this much. I thought we would get through like maybe one or two at the most. Holy cow, I didn't realize this was going to be so successful. I could just, after like maybe 3 streams of the 3 live streams of this, like I could just finish this whole book, dude. Oh, wait, okay, is that part 3? Chapter 4. Oh, Eeyore. What's my Eeyore voice gonna be? Hold on. I should base it off of I don't know if any of you guys are gonna get this. The sad robot from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. It's like, I suppose I could do that. Life isn't fair, is it? Wait, that's a Scar quote. Okay. All right. All right. Here we go with part 4 or chapter 4 or whatever. Okay, I should probably start talking at the beginning of the recording. Otherwise, there's just like 5 seconds, nothing. Sure, everybody wants to see that. Me just recording, just silence, just nothing. Okay. Winnie the Pooh by A.A. Milne. Chapter 4, in which Eeyore loses a tail and Pooh finds one. The old gray donkey, Eeyore, stood by himself in a thistly corner of the forest, his front feet well apart, his head on one side, and thought about things. Sometimes he thought sadly to himself, why? And sometimes he thought, wherefore? And sometimes he thought, inasmuch as which? And sometimes he didn't quite know what he was thinking about. So when Winnie the Pooh came stumping along, Eeyore was very glad to be able to stop thinking for a little in order to say, how do you do? In a gloomy manner to him. And how are you? Said Winnie the Pooh. Eeyore shook his head from side to side. Not very how, he said. I don't seem to have felt at all how for a very long time. Dear, dear, said Pooh. I'm sorry about that. Let's have a look at you. So Eeyore stood there, gazing sadly at the ground, and Winnie the Pooh walked all round him once. Why, what's happened to your tail? He said in surprise. What has happened to it? Said Eeyore. It isn't there. Are you sure? Well, either a tail is there, or it isn't there. You can't make a mistake about it, and yours isn't there. Then what is? Nothing. Let's have a look, said Eeyore, and he turned slowly round to the place where his tail had been a little while ago, and then, finding that he couldn't catch it up, he turned round the other way. And until he came back to where he was at first, and then he put his head down and looked between his front legs, and at last he said with a long, sad sigh, I believe you're right. Of course I'm right, said Pooh. That accounts for a good deal, said Eeyore gloomily, and explains everything. No wonder. You must have left it somewhere, said Winnie the Pooh. Someone must have taken it, said Eeyore. How like them, he said after a long silence. Pooh felt that he ought to say something helpful about it, but he didn't quite know what. So he decided to do something helpful instead. Eeyore, he said solemnly, I, Winnie the Pooh, will find your tail for you. Thank you, Pooh, answered Eeyore. You're a real friend, said he. Not like some, he said. So Winnie the Pooh went off to find Eeyore's tail. It was a fine spring morning in the forest as he started out. Little soft clouds played happily in a blue sky, skipping from time to time in front of the sun as if they had come to put it out, and then sliding away suddenly so that the next might have its turn. Though them, and between them, the sun shone bravely, and a copse, which had worn its furs all the year round, seemed old and doubting now between the new green lace which the beeches had put on so prettily. Through copse and spinney marched Bear, down open slopes of gorse and heather, over rocky beds and streams, up steep banks of sandstone into the heather again, and so at last, tired and hungry, to the 100-acre wood. For it was in the 100-acre wood that Owl lived. And if anyone knows anything about anything, said Bear to himself, it's Owl who knows something about something, he said, or my name's not Winnie the Pooh, he said, which it is, he added, so there you are. Owl lived at the Chestnuts, an old-world residence of great charm, which was grander than anybody else's, or so it seemed to Bear, because it had both a knocker and a bell-pull. Underneath the knocker there was a notice which says, Please ring if an rinser is required. Underneath the bell-pull there was a notice which said, Please knock if an rinser is not required. These notices had been written by Christopher Robin, who was the only one in the forest who could spell, for Owl, wise though he was in many ways, able to read and write and spell his own name Wall, yet somehow went all to pieces over delicate words like measles and buttered toast. Winnie the Pooh read the two notices very carefully, first from left to right, and afterwards, in case he had missed some of it, from right to left. Then, to make quite sure, he knocked and pulled the knocker, and he pulled and knocked the bell rope, and he called out in a very loud voice, Owl, I require an answer. It's Bear speaking. And the door opened, and Owl looked out. Hello, Pooh, he said. How's things? I'm going to fix that. I keep messing up voices. Hold on.
Hello, Pooh.
Yeah, okay. Owl is going to sound like this. Okay, here we go. Hello, Pooh, he said. How's things? Terrible and sad, said Pooh, because Eeyore, who was a friend of mine, has lost his tail. And he's moping about it. So could you very kindly tell me how to find it for him? Well, said Owl, the customary procedure in such cases is as follows. What does crust of money perceived cake mean? Said Bear, for I am a bear of very little brain, and long words bother me. It means the thing to do. Oh, as long as it means that, I don't mind, said Pooh humbly. The thing to do is as follows. First, issue a reward, then... Just a moment, said Pooh, holding up his paw. What do we do to this? What were you saying? You sneezed, just as you were going to tell me. I didn't sneeze. Yes, you did, Owl. Excuse me, Pooh, I didn't. You can't sneeze without knowing it? Well, you can't know it without something having been sneezed. What I said was, first, issue a reward. You're doing it again, said Pooh sadly. A reward, said Owl very loudly. We write a notice to say that we will give a very large something to anyone who finds Eeyore's tail. I see, said Pooh, nodding his head. Talking about large somethings, he said dreamily, I generally have a small something about now, about this time in the morning. And he looked wistfully at the cupboard in the corner of Owl's parlor. Just a mouthful of condensed milk or whatnot. Perhaps a lick of honey. Well then, said Owl, we write out this notice, and we put it up all over the forest. A lick of honey, murmured Bear to himself. Or not, as the case may be. But Owl went on, using longer and longer words, until at last he came back to where he started, and he explained that the person to write out this notice was Christopher Robin. It was he who wrote the ones on my front door for me. Did you see them, Pooh? For some time now, Pooh had been saying yes and no, in turn, with his eyes shut to all that Owl was saying, and having said yes last time, he said, No, not at all. Now, without really knowing what Owl was talking about, didn't you see them? Said Owl, a little surprised. Come and look at them now. So they went outside. And Pooh looked at the knocker and the notice below it, and he looked at the bell rope and the notice below it, and the more he looked at the bell rope, the more he felt that he had seen something like it, somewhere else, sometime before. Handsome bell rope, isn't it? Said Owl. Pooh nodded. It reminds me of something, he said, but I can't think what. Where did you get it? Well, I just came across it in a forest. It was hanging over a bush, and at first I thought someone lived there, so I rang it, and nothing happened. And then I rang it very loudly again, and it came off in my hand, and as no one seemed to want it, I took it home and... Owl, said Pooh solemnly, you made a mistake. Somebody did want it. Who? Eeyore. My dear friend Eeyore. He was fond of it. Fond of it? Attached to it, said Winnie the Pooh sadly. So with these words he unhooked it and carried it back to Eeyore, and when Christopher Robin had nailed it on its right place again, Eeyore frisked about the forest, waving his tail so happily that Winnie the Pooh came over all funny, and had to hurry home for a little snack of something to sustain him. And wiping his mouth half an hour afterwards, he sang to himself proudly, Who found the tail? I, said Pooh. At 1:45. It was 11:45, really. I found the tail. Here ends Chapter 4 of Winnie the Pooh. Da-na-na-na-na-na. 8:26. All right, thank you. I'm gonna put the book down. Chapter 4. Man, we're breezing through this. Holy cow. So I'm most definitely going to read The Wind in the Willows next, which is one of my favorite books. After that, I don't know. So, what I do, I'm going to take requests. So, oh, you know Wind of the Willows? It's a pretty obscure book. I'm surprised somebody knows it. Let's see here. All right. Unfortunately, I can't read movie scripts since those are under trademark, and I'm only doing things in public domain so that I don't get copyrighted. So unfortunately, I can't do anything like that. I would love to. However, I don't think it's possible. Oh yeah, there you go. I don't know what that has to do with the movie script thing you just said, but... Alright, let's see here. I need to upload the track before I name it. Chapter 4, that's it. Now, I'm a big fan of this, the original Winnie the Pooh book. The original one, we have 2 audiobooks of, both of the audiobooks I listen to while I'm writing essays and stuff, or at least I used to. And I could basically quote it word for word. I might be able. No, I don't think I can. I don't think I could say this from memory. I could say certain parts, like if you started me off with a with a quote from it. I could probably continue the scene, but I don't know if I still have it memorized. The Pooh chapter 4. Okay. Unfortunately not. I don't think I've met somebody with that big of a love for Winnie the Pooh as me. Maybe I have and I've just forgotten, but nothing. That's actually a quote from the movie, not the book, I think. Now, hold on. Now I have to check. Oh, that's the end of the first part. That's right. Oh, okay. So that's that. Okay, here we go. That's chapter 9 of the first part. Yeah, unfortunately, that's not in the book. That is a movie quote. I actually used that as a. I actually used that as. I've seen that used as a meme before. Oh golly! No, my suit. Oh no! I don't know if I can disclose that. Let's just say I don't live here. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Okay, that's published. We are at 9:37, almost 2 hours of recording. Okay, are they still here? I can't tell. Oh, you live near Chicago. That's kind of cool. I don't know if they're still here, but I believe Alex has been here from almost the start for these 2 hours. So like a big thank you for actually like sticking with this for so long. People have like jumped in and like jumped out and gotten erased from existence, but like I mean, thank you so much. Like this is a very small thing. Yes, thank you so much. Uh, do 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 do. Oh, Glen Carbon. I think that's a while. That's a while from Chicago. I'm trying to remember. I've definitely been there. I'm trying to remember where it is around Chicago. I think that's really far away from Chicago, actually. I have heard of it. Yeah, I've been there. Some of my relatives live there. So. Oh no! I started recording. Ah. Dooba dooba doo. Doo 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 doo. Do 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 do. Still, 4 hours is a while. That's not exactly close to Chicago. I suppose if you zoomed out Google Maps all the way, and you were in the world, I suppose that wouldn't be that much of a difference. But in specifically, that's not very close. Okay, so that's part 4. That's chapter 4 uploaded. Okay, what we're going to do, we have 20 minutes. We're going to start chapter 5. Oh, here we go. Oh, golly. Oh no. Shoot. What just happened? I clicked on something. No. Why do I keep touching things that explode? No. Oh, you watch my videos? I don't. A different time. All right. We're gonna start with chapter 5. Oh, excuse me. I'm gonna move this over here. Somebody texted something that was held for review, and it was like, do you want to hide this? And I like hovered over it, and then it was like, okay, it's deleted. And I was like, what? No. Shoot. Was there like a bad word in there or something? I said this video wasn't for kids. Well, to an extent. I mean, like, okay, is it actually 9:40 though? Because I went upstairs and they were like, oh yeah, it's only like 7. It says 9:40. What the heck? Okay, I'm very confused. Okay, Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't see. I didn't see the comment. I didn't see the comment. I would have allowed that if the only thing you said was heck. All right. Let us begin chapter 5. Test, 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 test. Winnie the Pooh, blah, blah, blah.
Test, test.
Wow, this works so well. I love this microphone. Winnie the Pooh by A.A. Milne. Chapter 5, in which Piglet meets a heffalump. One day, when Christopher Robin and Winnie the Pooh and Piglet were all talking together, Christopher Robin finished the mouthful he was eating and said carelessly, I saw a heffalump the other day, Piglet. What was it doing? Asked Piglet. Slumping along, said Christopher Robin. I don't think it saw me. I saw one once, said Piglet. At least, I think I did, he said. Only, perhaps it wasn't. So did I, said Pooh, wondering what a heffalump looked like. You don't often see them, said Christopher Robin carelessly. Not now, said Piglet. Not at this time of year, said Pooh. Then they all talked about something else until it was time for Pooh and Piglet to go home together. At first, as they stumped along the path which edged to the 100-acre wood, they didn't say much to each other. But when they came across the stream and had helped each other across the stepping stones and were able to walk side by side over the heather, they began to talk in a friendly way about this and that. And Piglet said, If you see what I mean, Pooh. And Pooh said, It's just what I think myself, Piglet. And Piglet said, But on the other hand, Pooh, we must remember. And Pooh said, Quite true, Piglet, although I had forgotten it for the moment. And then, just as they looked around to see that no one else was looking, Pooh turned around and said in a very solemn voice, Piglet, I have decided something. What have you decided, Pooh? I have decided to catch a heffalump. Pooh nodded his time. I messed that up.
Pooh nodded his head.
I keep accidentally giving Piglet like a Cockney accent. Oop, somebody left. Whoops. So there's 2 still remaining. Is one of them me? No, because it said 0 whenever this started. So that means there must still be 2 people left. Interesting. I don't know. Oh dear. Where was I? Wait, let me just...
I have decided to catch a heffalump.
Okay. Pooh nodded his head several times as he said this, and waited for Piglet to say, "How?" or "Pooh, you couldn't," or something helpful of that sort, but Piglet said nothing. The fact is, Piglet was wishing that he had thought about it first. "I shall do it," said Pooh, after waiting a little longer, "by means of a trap. And it must be a cunning trap, so you will have to help me, Piglet." "Pooh," said Piglet, feeling quite happy again. "I will." And then he said, "But how shall we do it?" And Pooh said, "That's just it. How?" And then they sat down together to think it out. Pooh's first idea was that they should dig a very deep pit, and then the heffalump would come over and fall into the pit. And "Why?" said Piglet. "Why what?" said Pooh. "Why would he fall in?" Pooh rubbed his nose with his paw, and saw that the heffalump might be walking around, humming a little song, and looking up at the sky, wondering if it would rain, and so he wouldn't see the very deep pit until he was halfway down, when it would be too late. Piglet said that this was a very good trap, but supposing it were raining already? Pooh rubbed his nose again, and said that he hadn't thought of that. And then he brightened up and said, if it were raining already, the heffalump would be looking up at the sky, wondering if it would clear up, so he wouldn't see the very deep pit until he was halfway down, when it would be too late. Piglet said that now this point was made and explained, he thought it was a very cunning trap. Pooh was very proud when he heard this, and he felt that the heffalump was as good as caught already, but there was just one thing which had to be thought about, and it was this. Where should they dig the very deep pit? Piglet said that the best place would be somewhere where a heffalump was, just before he fell into it, only about a foot further on. But then he would see us digging it, said Pooh. Not if he was looking at the sky. He would suspect, said Pooh, if he happened to look down. He thought for a long time and then added sadly, it isn't as easy as I thought. I suppose that's why heffalumps hardly ever get caught. That must be it, said Piglet. They sighed and got up, and when they had taken a few gorse prickles out of themselves, they sat down again, and all the time Pooh was thinking to himself, if only I could think of something, for he felt sure that a very clever brain could catch a heffalump if he knew the right way to go about it. Suppose, he said to Piglet, you wanted to catch me. How would you do it? Well, said Piglet, I should do it like this. I should make a trap, and I should put a jar of honey in the trap, and you would smell it, and you would go in after it, and I would go in after it, said Pooh excitedly, only very carefully, so as not to hurt myself. And I should get to the jar of honey, and I should look around the edges first of all, pretending that there wasn't any more, and then I should walk away and think about it a little, and then I should come back and start licking in the middle of the jar, and then, yes, well, never mind about that. There you would be, and there I should catch you. Now, the first thing to think of, what do heffalumps like? I should think acorns, shouldn't you? We'll get a lot. I say, wake up, Pooh. Pooh, who had gone into a happy dream, woke up with a start and saw that honey was a much more trappy thing than acorns. Piglet didn't think so, and they were just going to argue about it, when Piglet remembered that if they put acorns in the trap, he would have to find the acorns. But if they put honey, then Pooh would have to give up some of his own honey. So he said, all right, honey then. Just as Pooh remembered it too, and was going to say, all right, acorns. Honey, said Pooh to himself in a thoughtful way, as if it was now settled. I'll dig the pit, while you go and get the honey. Very well, said Pooh, and he stumped off. As soon as he got home, he went to the larder, and he sat on a chair and took down a very large jar of honey from the top shelf. It had honey written on it, but just to be sure, he took off the paper cover and looked at it, and it looked just like honey. But you never can tell, said Pooh. I remember my uncle saying once that he had seen cheese just this color. So he put his tongue in and took a large lick. Yes, he said, it is. No doubt about that. And honey, I should say, right down to the bottom of the jar. Unless, of course, he said, someone put cheese in at the bottom of just for a joke. Perhaps I had better go a little further just in case heffalumps don't like cheese, same as me. Ah, and he gave a deep sigh. I was right. It is honey all the way down. Having made certain of this, he took the jar back from Piglet, and Piglet looked up from the bottom of his very deep pit and said, Got it? And Pooh said, Yes, but isn't quite a full jar. And he threw it down to Piglet, and Piglet said, No, it isn't. Is that all you've got left? And Pooh said yes, because it was. So Piglet put the jar at the bottom of the pit and climbed out, and they went home together. Well, good night, Pooh, said Piglet. Shoot, I messed that up. I'm glad I catch these things before I upload them so that Piglet isn't using Pooh's voice. Wait, where was I? Oh, wait.
Home together.
Okay. Okay. Here we go.
Well, good night, Pooh, said Piglet when they had got to Pooh's house, and we meet at 6 o'clock tomorrow morning by the pine trees and see how many heffalumps we've got in our trap.
6 o'clock, Piglet. And have you got any string?
No. Why do you want string?
To lead them home with.
Oh. I think heffalumps come if you whistle.
Some do and some don't. You never can tell with heffalumps. Well, good night.
Good night.
And off Piglet trotted to his house, trespassers W, while Pooh made his preparations for bed. Some hours later, just as the night was beginning to steal away, Pooh woke up suddenly with a sinking feeling. He had had that sinking feeling before, and he knew what it meant. He was hungry. So he went to the larder and stood on a chair, and he reached up to the top shelf and found nothing. That's funny, he thought. I know I had a jar of honey there, a full jar, full of honey right up to the top, and it had honey written on it so that I should know it was honey. That's very funny. And then he began to wander up and down, wondering where it was, and murmuring a murmur to himself like this. It's very, very funny, 'cause I know I had some honey, 'cause it had a label on saying honey. A galoptious full of pot too, and I don't know where it's got to. No, I don't know where it's gone. Well, it's funny. He had murmured this to himself 3 times in a singing sort of way, when suddenly he remembered he had put it into the cunning trap to catch the heffalump. Bother, said Pooh. It all comes of trying to be kind to heffalumps. And he got it back into bed. But he couldn't sleep. The more he tried to sleep, the more he couldn't. He tried counting sheep, which is sometimes a good way of getting to sleep, and as this was no good, he tried counting heffalumps, and that was worse. Because every heffalump he counted was making straight for a pot of Pooh's honey and eating it all. For some moments he lay there miserably, but when the 587th heffalump was licking its jaws and saying to itself, Very good honey this, I don't know when I've tasted better, Pooh could bear it no longer. He jumped out of bed, he ran straight out of the house, and he ran right to the 6 pine trees. The sun was still in bed, but there was a lightness in the sky over the 100-acre wood, which seemed to show that it was waking up and would soon be kicking off the clothes. In the half-light, the pine trees looked cold and lonely, and the very deep pit seemed deeper than it was, and Pooh's jar of honey at the bottom was something mysterious, a shape, and no more. But as he got nearer to it, his nose told him that it was indeed honey, and his tongue came out and began to polish up his mouth, ready for it. Bother, said Pooh, as he got his nose inside the jar. A heffalump has been eating it. And then he thought a little and said, Oh, no, I did. I forgot. Indeed, he had eaten most of it. But there was a little left at the very bottom of the jar, and he pushed his head right in and began to lick. By and by, Piglet woke up. As soon as he woke, he said to himself, Oh! And then bravely he said, Yes. And then still more bravely, Quite so. But he didn't feel brave, for the word which was really jittering around in his brain was heffalumps. What was a heffalump like? Was it fierce? Did it come when you whistled? And how did it come? Was it fond of pigs at all? If it was fond of pigs, did it make any difference what sort of pig? Supposing it was fierce with pigs, would it make any difference if the pig had a grandfather named Trespasses William? He didn't know the answer to any of these questions, and he was going to see his first heffalump in about an hour from now.
Of course Pooh would be with them, and it was more friendly with two, but suppose heffalumps were very fierce with pigs and bears. Wouldn't it be better to pretend that he had a headache and couldn't go to the 6 pine trees this morning? But then suppose it was a very fine day and there was no heffalump in the trap. Here he would be in bed all morning, simply wasting his time for nothing. What should he do? And then he had a clever idea. He would go very quietly to the sadness and despair, and it was at that moment that Piglet looked down. "Help! Help!" cried Piglet. "A heffalump! A horrible heffalump!" And he scampered off as far as he could, still crying out, "Help! Help! A horrible heffalump! Huff! Huff! A horrible horrorlump! Hol! A huffable hollerump!" And he did stop crying and scampering until he got to Christopher Robin's house. "Whatever's the matter, Piglet?" said Christopher Robin, who was just getting up. "Heff!" said Piglet, breathing so hard he could hardly speak. A heffalump." "Where?" "Up there," said Piglet, waving his paw. "What did it look like?" Like the biggest head you ever saw, Christopher Robin. A great, enormous thing, like nothing. A huge, big, well, I don't know, like a big, enormous nothing, like a jar." "Well," said Christopher Robin, putting on his shoes, "I shall go and look at it. Come on." Piglet wasn't afraid if he had Christopher Robin with him, so off they went. "I can hear it, can't you?" said Piglet anxiously as they got near. "I can hear something," said Christopher Robin. It was Pooh, bumping his head against a tree root he had found. "There, said Piglet. "Isn't it awful?" And he held on tight to Christopher Robin's hand. Suddenly Christopher Robin began to laugh, and he laughed, and he laughed, and he laughed. And while he was still laughing, crash went the heffalump's head against the tree root, smash went the jar, and out came Pooh's head again. Then Piglet saw what a foolish Piglet he had been, and he was so ashamed of himself so that he ran straight off home and went to bed with a headache. But Christopher Robin and Pooh went home to breakfast together. "Oh, Bear," said Christopher Robin, "how I do love you." "So do I," said Pooh. Here ends Chapter 5 of Winnie the Pooh. Is that the longest one? 16. Wow, this is 13 minutes long. And that's going to about do it for the recordings, since we're at 9:58. So let me just export this, and hopefully I can upload this before I end the stream. Thank you, whoever's watching, so much. Somebody just left. Thank you guys so much for staying here. I'm surprised. I think we got to 7 at one point. Like 7 people watching. That's insane. Oh my goodness. This worked so well. All right. 3, 2, 1. Kaboom. All right. That's that. And now we're going to add that real quick. It's 10 o'clock on a Saturday. No, don't play that. To upload this thing so that I can go to bed. La la la, da, da, I need to upload the thing. La la la, la la la. Okay, so result is 2 hours and 14, almost 15 minutes. 5. The intro and 5 chapters. That's insane. Oh my goodness. I'm so happy we got that much done. All right. Bother out of apple cider. Well, thank you guys so much for being here. I'm going to upload this right now. If you liked this, please tell people about this. I would love it if more people could jump on. That would be amazing. And if you liked this, I will be doing this every Saturday night from 8 to 10 p.m. So jump back on next week if you want to see the next part of Winnie the Pooh. Hopefully we could get through the next 5 or 6 parts. So that would be amazing. Thank you guys so much for being here, and I will see you guys later. Thank you so much. Goodbye.